All right. Awesome. Well, so we're going to talk about building revenue share. We're going to talk about building up our brokers, building up EXP. You all own a business. You don't know that, but if you don't, I'm here to tell you, you are a business owner. You're part owner in EXP, and you get paid if you help reward or help the growth of EXP. Now, this is the part I want you guys to remember. This is real important. Every single one of us is already doing this job if we're a real estate agent or a business owner or anything else. The number one most important thing you could do to be a business owner is bring more people into your particular business, what it is you're providing or selling or whatever the case may be. Think about it from a dentist. A dentist doesn't have a business until they have people that start coming into that business. So we're going to talk about something that is in this is a skill set that can be used in every aspect of your life. I'm going to share my screen and show you what's on this page for you. It's here, it's yours. What you'll be doing when you're recruiting is creating an experience of what it's going to be like before people join. If you're telling them, oh, well, you'll make a bunch of money, they don't feel that. Emotions actually make the move. In other words, coach, train, lead the competitors' agents better than their current leader. And if you don't feel you can, that's totally cool. A lot of us here can do that with you. We do this very well with the GPS Global Partners. We teach, we coach, we help, we support. That's what you have in your wheelhouse in doing so. This is great. The foundation, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People want to belong and people will pay for community. People want love and recognition. Look for people who that you enjoy and respect. You're looking to attract people that actually you like. Now, here's a bunch of relationship building questions for you. I'm not going to go into them. Your authentic story is important. If you have friends that are being requested, people are requesting on Facebook, I've used this for quite a few years, and I've actually attracted 2 or 3 people based on doing this. It is a very easy response for what people do. For accepting a friend on Facebook. If they're a real estate agent, they're going to get that response from me. Basically, it just says, hey, we're all in this together. How can I help? And thanks for asking for my friend. This is what I send when people want the video. This is it. It's simple. It's saved in my phone, and I just send it out. Here are some of the main objections. We'll probably cover some of these. And there's a lot more here, folks. As you'll see, there is attraction scripts for inside sales, direct. I would encourage you practice these. This is my favorite one. It's the power script. That's it. This is for all of us and for you guys to use. But the reason we're here is because DeFalco said he'd jump in. Tony, good to see you, brother. How are you?
Good morning. I'm about 5 minutes from the house. I'll be still in about 5 minutes, but
no problem.
I was just walking with Janae, one of our business partners at EXP as an agent, but also the TC. So we decided to start walking every morning when I drop the kids off because I'm a half mile from our house. So definitely cool. And guys, think about that. That's community. That's having someone else there to help you do what you need to do. And it's better doing it with someone else. It makes it easier. It makes it more fun. There's conversation. We just did about 4 miles this morning. And when I walk by myself, I feel those 4 miles. I didn't even feel like we walked because we had conversation and community during that time. So what we're coming up to in this market, in this, as Gary would call it, the shift. There's definitely a shift. There's something going on. People are looking for answers and they're looking for community. So before I forget this, George, because you have attention deficit, I want you all to write this down. Be curious constantly. Be curious constantly. So what do I mean by be curious constantly? I want you to also write this down. You cannot prescribe a treatment to an ailment or illness if you don't know what the ailment or illness of the particular patient. If you're a doctor and George walked in, and George said, knee replacement. And I said, hey, George, how are you? He says, oh, I'm not really walking too well. You know what? I think we should adjust your back, whatever. Then we get to talk to him and figure out what the problem was. You're merely guessing. So all the things that George shared earlier are all so important. And that's when you're delivering the treatment to the ailment, but you have to be curious and figure out what the ailment is, what the illness is. I was having a conversation yesterday. I went to a great broker's open yesterday, George, phenomenal. And obviously with the title business, I was able to share that. But I was able to talk to agents about their business. And the lady Laura, she's the top agent in Broward County, had about 45 agents at this broker's open. So I had a lot of really good conversations. And George, they were all different. They were all different. So I was speaking to a young man who was 28 years old, and he said, you know, I work for a certain brokerage down here in South Florida. They're a good brokerage. The guy's a local guy from where I grew up in Connecticut. And there's other good brokerages. There's EXP and there's Coldwell Banker and there's this and that. He said, but you're a Ravens fan and I'm a Giants fan. You can't play on all the teams. You have to choose the team that's best for you. And George, are you there?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, no doubt. It's a great company, phenomenal company. They have great internet marketing. They own their own marketing company, a mail out company that they're partners in. That's phenomenal. He says, yeah, I love it. And I said, let me ask you, how many homes a year do you sell? I sell about 22 to 25 homes a year. I said, that's amazing. I said, how many more years do you expect to do that? He said, so I'm at least 50. I said, 22 more years. So can I ask you, and Paul's on the call, so the reason Paul made the move over, I said, let me ask you a question. In 22 years, selling 22 to 25 homes, maybe get to 30 or 40 homes, what's the exit strategy? What will you be doing? He said, oh, it will be my own company. I said, so wonderful. From 50 to 70, you want to run a real estate company? He said, no, I'm going to have someone run it. I said, oh, wow. You know, I've been a broker for about 16 years and 22 years in the business. And I discussed that. I said, you know, I had my own brokerages. And the word broker, I was always never more broke than when I was a broker. And I said, I had this crazy guy call me from Orlando, and I brought George up, and I said, he showed me something a little and talked about being a football fan. He's a football fan. I said, you love the Giants? He said, yes. I said, do you get to go to many games? So I would love to. I said, well, I'm going to go to 8 Ravens games this year, and I went to a Dolphins game. I'm going to go to a University of Florida game. He says, wow. And I said, yeah, and I sell 22 to 25 homes. He said, how do you do it? I said, well, I have this residual income. It's with the company. It gives me less per agent per se, but my agents are all my partners, and they brought partners in. And we all grow together. We have this amazing community of over 1,000 with my partner that brought me in, or near 1,000. And it's pretty amazing. And he looked at me and he says, really? I said, yeah. And I said, I would never do this. Well, tell me why. He said, it's multi-level marketing. I said, it is. It is multi-level marketing. And that's why I have 476 agent partners now around the country from the 30 that I introduced to this great system that introduced people. And we are having lunch. And look, his gates are still probably closed, but a year or two from now, that's going to change because he's going to see as he sells more homes, it gets more expensive and it takes more time away from his family. He does have a fiance, they're getting married, and they're expecting to have children in the future. Life changes, guys. You don't know if this seed that you plant for today or for tomorrow. It's just, are you planting it for the right reason? Are you planting it to give someone a little better option for their career? Now, guys, selling real estate in the next year, 2 or 3, there may be a better option than what we have. There could be. I'm not saying there is, but there could be. But for a career to build something that's yours at the end, that George looked at it, talked to the CEO, the CFO, and made that decision. I made the decision. Paul made the decision. You all made that decision. If you diligently and consistently build this slowly, you could build it fast, wonderful. You will have something at the end. I don't know what that's going to look like for you at the end, but it will be something. And something is better than nothing, and a check is better. I mean, I truly thought I'd be 5 times bigger in my income for the XP 4 years later. And I'm mad. Oh, but it's still a blessing. It's a major blessing. So whatever it is, whatever effort you put in, that's wonderful. So be curious constantly. Find out what their needs are. Compliment where they are, guys. Because I'm telling you what, there's a lot of great companies out here. Ask what they love about the company. Ask what they would like to be different about the company. And find out, do they have an exit strategy? And if they don't have an exit strategy, so we have an exit strategy, you should take a look at it. Worst case scenario, George is going to love this. Old school from day one. The worst case scenario You're going to know what the fastest growing real estate company is doing, and you're going to know what your competitors are doing, because we're going to show you everything in that interview or in that collaboration. I'm going to interview in the collaboration, and you're going to know what we're doing, and you're going to have a lot of friends in the business. I can't wait to have one for you. That, George, go ahead. But I wanted to drop that because it's really as simple as that. Have conversations to help others.
1000%. Tony, great cue in there. And we didn't practice this, but that's a hell of a lead in. I want to challenge everybody here to help somebody. Just that simple. I want to challenge you to find somebody who needs a little more help, a little more support, a little more understanding, needs somebody that's going to listen. Most important, as Tony hit on, and I strongly agree with this, ask questions. Now, you heard Tony say, never beat up their brokerage or say bad things. You're absolutely right. I'm going to change that a little bit and say, ask questions and celebrate what's good for them. At some point, they will tell you what is not. They'll tell you what the stone in their shoe is. They'll tell you where they have a problem and then solve a problem for them. Not by saying, well, if you come to EXP, you're going to get it, but saying, hey, listen, I've got somebody you may want to talk to who can help you with that. Or there's something we're doing that can help you. What is their issue? Now, I have questions that I like. Where does most of your business come from? What's the market doing right now? Now, these are open-ended questions that allow people to have a conversation with you. You can always talk to somebody and say, so what do you think of this crazy market? And let them talk and actively and passionately listen to what they're saying. Listen to that doctor report. As Tony said, oh, well, you know, my finger hurts like this. Well, we should give you a bypass surgery. I mean, how the heck can you do that? Listen to what they're saying. The question, and it's in that syllabus, there's a question. This is the power script that I like, that I think is great. And yeah, it's a script. It's a script because it's the right questions to ask. Now, you may have your own, but your mission is not to sell, but is to discover where they could use some help. If everything is going great, they don't need a change. If things are not, they probably do. Most people are very conditioned not to say, well, go ahead, tell me about it. After you build a relationship, they're going to say, tell me about it. Tony, that happened to you. You sent me a text message on that. So this guy's like, all right, it's probably time for me to take a better look at this. And that's through a relationship. Is that fair?
That guy had a padlock. He had 4 armored guards in front of his gate with shotguns saying, I will shoot my best friend if you ever talk to me about EXP ever again. Like that, that's how much his gate was locked.
Well, Tom Martin was exactly the same thing, Tony. Exactly the same.
Very similar.
Yeah, no, Tom literally said, listen, if you ever have a conversation about EXP again, we're not going to be friends. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I never spoke to him about EXP for 3 years. I spoke to him about Tom because that's my passion, is my friend Tom. Same thing with you.
To write this down. Yeah, I want you to write this down as well. Do not sell during discovery. Tina Valiant. Do not sell during discovery. Do not prescribe during discovery. And the reason being, guys, this is also for listings as well. This is also for buyers consultations as well. This is also, you're out a new person, you want in your top 50 to have a referral source. Discover what their needs are, what their why is. Do not prescribe. So during that conversation with the 28-year-old, I said to him, wow, 22 to 25 homes. How do you get your business? Like, where does it come from? 75% of all my deals, I pay a referral fee. 75% of all my deals, I pay a referral fee. And he's with a company here in Florida that's probably, Paul's actually on the phone. Lang Realty, maybe they have 1,000 agents, maybe, I don't know. And they're all mainly in the state of Florida from what I understand. So I said, wow, are you getting, yeah, I have brokers in Miami and in Port St. Lucie and Orlando that don't want to come up to Palm Beach Gardens. They don't want to come to my marketplace. Oh, that's wonderful. So you get all those from Lang, that's amazing. No, well, probably half of those come from outside brokers. George, I said, that's awesome. How do you get in contact with those outside brokers? Oh, I spend an hour a week. I get on the phone with brokers. I invite them to Facebook. I do this, I do that. I said, that's awesome. And that creates 6, 7, 8 deals a year. I said, can I ask you a question? If you had an easier system to touch 75 to 100,000 agents with a couple of clicks of a button, it was more automatic with the same offer that you're offering your small brokerage, and then the people that you happen to talk to, if it was an easier system with he pays a 33% referral fee, that's his business model. I said, do you think you would do better? He said, with the click of a button, I could touch 75 to 100,000 agents. I said, yes, if you could, would it help your business? He said, yes. I said, well, we at least have to sit down to show you why. I know you're working for the New York Giants right now, why the Baltimore Ravens could be the better choice. Because with Workplace, with our size brokerage, there's competitors out there. There's Real, there's LPT. They're not our size. You can't get those extra 10, 15, 20 deals a year to sell real estate on a massive level to then build your retirement revenue share. So, George, the revenue share, he was literally a deer in the headlights at the end of the conversation. He said 5 or 10 people brought up EXP to me, but when I told them about the football team, they just drop it. They never showed me why I should really look at it. Guys, you have to show people why they should look at it. Not that it's going to be for them, but why they should at least take a look.
Well, Tony, and we're saying that the thing is, you all got to hear this. You don't know what to show them until they tell you what they need to see. And this is something I'm going to challenge everybody to consider, that if you've got a significant other, that this actually is highly effective for relationships, because everything is a relationship. If you're actively listening to what the challenges are with with your spouse, your wife, your husband, your whoever, you're going to be able to help solution that, as opposed to telling them what they should do, which never works in any scenario. Don't tell your spouse what they should do. Listen to what their challenges are and then help them find the solution. We're doing the same thing. Here's the secret. Y'all pay close attention to this. Everybody, do I got your eyes right here? Even if you're driving, Tony, look at me. Don't look at the road. Right at me, Tony, right now. We are not going to be able to help everybody because some people don't have a problem. And if they don't have a problem, that's absolutely cool. Then just be their friend and listen to them. Here's an example. Tom Martin didn't have a problem. So I said, I'm just going to do what I always would do. He's a great friend of mine, one of my best friends. I listened to what his problems were. I listened to what his successes were. He didn't really have a lot of problems. And then all of a sudden he had a little bit of problem. He goes, I got a little bit of a problem. I said, you know what? I have a solution for that problem. You have to understand that in 50%, at a maximum, 50%, or excuse me, at a minimum, 50% of the people that you start asking, hey, listen, what do you think of this crazy market? Here, this is it. Pay attention to this. What do you think of this crazy market? Where does most of your business come from? They want to tell you that. Who's helping you move your business forward? Because I always want to keep my options open. A phenomenal question that lets them tell you what's going on. And then my favorite one is, what's the stone in your shoe? What's the one thing slowing you down from the great success you deserve? I got nothing slowing me down. I'm doing phenomenal. That's awesome. We're going to be friends now. I'm not going to talk about EXP. I'm going to talk about you, your business, and what you're doing. And this is a secret to database, which is the secret to relationships, which is a secret to family. If you are not asking people about their business, about how they're doing, and genuinely interested in how they're doing, don't waste your time. If you care, then continue to care. Tony said something to me that was brilliant. I put this couple things. Never, ever diagnose during discovery. Never offer solutions. Don't listen, actively, aggressively listen. Ask good questions and listen to the answer. And I totally forgot what number 2 was, but I'll come back to it. But if you've got, so it'll come back to me at some point. That's it, Claire. It's not easy. Listen, more pretty than smart right here. That's what I got going on. Folks, ask the questions. Remember, half of them, they don't have a problem, or they don't realize they have a problem, or they don't want to own that they have a problem. And that's okay. Then just be their friend and continue to support them in their journey. It's a lot more fun when you're surrounded by that. For everybody here, you should have a list of 20 people you would, in a perfect world, love to attract to EXP. Now, if only 5 of those people came, hang tight one sec, T, I'll turn it right over to you. But if only 5 of those people came, that would absolutely be criminal. It would also be about $1,000 a month in passive income to you. Let that sink in. Of the 20 people you want to love on, if only 5 of them show up at EXP, which is less than it will be, it'd be more than that, and you genuinely love on them because you like these people and you want to be around them, continue to do so. And when 5 end up coming, you will, because you have no choice, make an extra $1,000 a month. I don't know about y'all, but that pays for a big part of my mortgage or one of my cars. I like that idea, and I get it by helping. Tony, back to you, my friend.
The stop is always in the start. The stop is always in the start. So forget George's 20. By the end of today, I want one person on your list today. Then I want you to make a plan to have 5, 10, 15, 20, get it up to 50, to the top 50. Any agent that calls you, Claire calls me on 12345 Oak Meadow Lane. Save Claire is showed 12345 Oak Meadow Lane, November the 17th, 2022. Save your phone immediately every showing you have. Stop using showing time. Make them call you and text you. I know, do not use showing time for anything. Oh my God, it's so easy. But no, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And don't give showing instructions over the phone. George, it was great having a conversation, but to make this easy, I said my customer the exact text you send me to make sure you are really a real estate agent. I need you to send me over your name, your company, your license number, the address, and when you want to show it. Do not take a picture of it. I need it in text because I copy and paste it. So follow up for that listing is real easy. I type in the address and then I get all my feedback. And then when I call back for the feedback, hey, George, you showed my property at 11:45 a.m. on November 17th. How's your week been, George? Blah, 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 blah. How's everything going? Oh, crazy. I had this inspection falling apart. Oh, really? What's the problem with the inspection? Try to fix something for them that makes you not $1. Don't think you're wasting time. You're building a relationship, building a relationship, building a relationship. Then you can go in and type in agent. And every person, guys, every person I speak to is George Philbeck, KW, showed dash possible EXP. So when I'm bored on vacation, I'll type in possible EXP and 300 names come up. Then I'll click on and see when we were texting, did we have some conversation? Was it funny? Did we make a couple jokes? Talk a little bit more about the market, whatever. I can't wait to do this deal with you and many more. By the way, I have 380 partners in South Florida. If you ever see another EXP listing you need to show, reach out to me. I'll try to give you one step ahead. Try to give them a little bit. I wish Vic was on the call. Vic's first phone call, Vic's Mosaic, first phone call in real estate was to me. And Vic works for the school board in Palm Beach County. The school board of Palm Beach County, according to Vic, not me. So don't get me sued by Palm Beach County. Everyone is a backstabber. So when I helped Vic on his first phone call in real estate history, he, George, you're sharing your screen.
Yeah, I wanted to show them something while you're going. You carry on, Tony, but I'm going to do this in just a second. It's relevant to what you're saying.
Vic saved me a scam artist. He said, if this guy is trying to help me and he's not with the Kai's company, he's a scam artist. Do not answer. So then I would text him and ask him about his day and da-da-da-da. And then one day he said he did a rental, but it fell apart. I said, why did it fall apart? I said, call me. So he called me. I was in my office, in my bathroom where I'm always at. And we went through what happened. And I said, Vic, these questions are going to help you close more rentals. I said, I need you to write these down. We had about a 30-minute call. He did this, he did that. Well, then he got his first check from the Kai's company. George, it was his own property that he rented. He said, you know what? I could do it on my own, but I'm going to give it to the Kai's company. Well, they charged him for about 14 fees. You can ask Vic. And from his $2,800 rental, they gave him $1,400. He got $92.
Jesus.
He sent me a picture of the check. He says, it's time. I called him, and scam artist has now been his partner at EXP. I don't know, 3 years, 3.5. It's been well over 2 years. Vic's been here. Vic does not engage a whole lot with me. He'll always post when he sells something. He'll call me once in a while on the question, but it's amazing that just helps someone, just helps someone, just helps someone. Now, guys, most of you on the phone would love to build revenue share for the future. Is that correct? Can anyone raise their hand?
It is. Yeah. We all know that. Yes.
So right now, one of your highest priorities for most of us on the call is to sell more real estate. George, would that be fair to say?
Yep.
So the more relationships that you have with other agents in your community that never come to EXP, but you help them, you had a communication with them, you have them saved, they know you because you were different. Would that give you a higher probability, a possibility, a probability, or no doubt about it, you're going to sell more real estate because when you go show their property, a deeper relationships helps you close more deals. George, would that be fair to say?
1000% the best way to build a business.
Do you guys sell more houses? Come on now, guys. If you wanted to sell more houses, what should you do? You should interview real estate agents to find out what they're doing. It's working really, really, really well with them. And then Jonathan Masters said the other day, rip off and duplicate. Rip off and duplicate. The more information you find, the more nuggets that are going to pop out, the more stuff that you're going to get. So I saved in my notes from this call because I guess I'm one of the leaders on the call. But what is the stone in your shoe? And then I always stop and pause, George, when I deliver this. You guys do it your way. So I wrote, what is the stone in your shoe? And then I added Tony's. And I stopped real quick. What is holding you back from the success that you desire? Like, what's that stone? And then stop talking.
Yep.
And then what else? What else? What else? What else? I can't remember the coach that taught this, but normally the fifth or sixth thing is the true thing from their heart. See, if you try to fix the first thing during the discovery, you're going to fix something and then you're going to sound like a used car salesman. And they're never going to tell you what their deepest secret is. They're never going to tell you that they're about to go through a divorce, that this is really bothering them. And the success they need is to keep their family together because their wife doesn't feel secure because the market's been up and down. They're never going to tell you that. And they're never going to tell you they feel alone and they're depressed. Like, guys, this is real shit for all of us. And you may save a life, first off. You really may. And you may have a business partner at the end. At least you're going to have a friend. You're going to have someone to bounce things off of. Guys, make connections. These are your business partners. Laura Sanders sells 104 homes a year. She had over 40 people at this open house. The Blue Realty team had every car there. They support her. Laura supports them. I did one show on the farm. We became best friends. I wrote a diet plan for Laura November the 19th of last year. She followed a little bit of it and she's down 50 pounds. 6 months later, she got on it and she saw me and she got on me about gaining weight. I didn't even recognize her, George, at another party 2 weeks ago. And she says, you got on me and you gained the weight. Da, 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 da. And I had to say to a mortgage broker that George, who's friends with you and Jackie Seaton, is that who I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
George,
yep.
Seaton, the mortgage broker. Who was that? He said, it's Laura Sanders. I said, oh my gosh. And I called her, just Tony, you were the one that planted the nugget that dinner. I was miserable. Now I'm going to plant the nugget for you to get back. Guys, you don't know who you're helping. This lady probably makes, she does 50 million, George. What is that net income? 800,000, $1 million a year, something. Yep. She was struggling somewhere in her life. She's not an EXP. She's probably never going to come. She may, who knows? But I have a friend in the business. I have another partner. They all don't have to be here, guys. It is what it is. So have conversation.
Tony, hang tight 1 second, because I'm going to jump in at this point. Guys, this is something that Tony said. When you're showing a property or you're keeping notes or you know where you met them, do y'all know that this is the Bonsai Sushi is our favorite sushi restaurant? And I typed in my home address on here just because I wanted to see what it looks like. And if I go up here and then I search it because it's in my notes, look at that. Bonsai Sushi shows up because in the notes is, in case in this scenario, it would be the address as Tony was talking about, or something that prods you to be able to, as a group, you can bring back up, hey, I just wanted to thank you for showing my home. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, create that relationship. I thought it was an important thing, Tony, because you're a master with the phone. I want everybody else to know your notes section is shareable. Now, we've gone off on this and we've dove into it. I hope what you get clearly is that it's about genuinely caring. Tony's talking about the big blue company with all these people supporting, and are they going to come? They may not. This person he helped them, and now they're helping him. There's a relationship there. And please remember, your job is to create these relationships. It will make your job as real estate agents much more fun and, quite honestly, much more beneficial. You work better with people you know. Is everybody going to jump on board? Not yet, but they will. I'm going to tell you a story as well, and I want you guys to consider this. This is a relationship I've had for 10 years or so. 5 years I've been with EXP, just a little bit over 5 years at this point. Gentleman named Alan Maycumber. I don't want to say his name out loud. That'd be disrespectful. All right. Alan's was now Sotheby's. He's with KW, went to Sotheby's. Again, I'm not going to mention Alan Maycumber's name. Great friend of mine. Alan and I played golf probably 30 times in the last 5 years because I genuinely enjoy his company, but I never talk about EXP. I know his problems, his challenges, and his issues. And he just had a challenge that showed up that was a big enough one. He goes, I'm ready. Tell me more. Because of the relationship, he's open to it. He'll ask me now and again, but I'm not pushing it. I'm not EXPing all over him. He knows that I love what I do, and I talk about the things that benefit me. For me, because Alan's about my age, I talk about the health insurance and the Viome, which I love. What do you know about this brokerage that you own a part of? That's a real question. What are you knowing about it so that when the time comes, you can help somebody with a solution? It is never about a benefit drop. It's about a solution to a problem, almost exclusively. And I definitely want your feedback on that, Tony. Would you agree with that, that it is solution-based, not value proposition-based?
Solution-based, absolutely. And if you give someone a solution to one problem or one issue and say, it's great, George, we work well together, we should really be in communication more. Let's stay in contact. Would it offend you? Write this down. If I'll tell you to write it down. Would it offend you if I stayed in contact with you periodically so we could just talk shop and help each other?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I'd love that. Yeah.
Now you're not calling them for EXP, guys. You're not at all. And don't call them for EXP. Call them to solve problems. Call them to build community, and EXP will build itself. Fred used to say this. Do not focus on the money. Focus on servicing the customer, and the money will come. Focus on servicing the agent, and the agents will come. The ref share will build. And guys, I mean this when I say this. I have my sister, this my partner, big. Guys, this is amazing, guys. Like, I mean this. So George talked the other day about your freedom number, knowing your freedom number. My freedom number with 4 children, it's about $12,000 a month. Between title and EXP, I wake up every day earning that number. Guys, I can't even tell you. George, when you first met me and I was a broker, how was I doing financially?
You were a broker.
Be honest. Seriously though, right? Hey,
yeah.
the first event that we went out to, you had to lend me the money to go out to in Louisiana, yep. Right? Yep. Remember,
I lent you the money to fly Sprint Airlines. I mean, how bad is that?
I love Spirit. Dude, you guys are idiots if you don't fly Spirit.
Are you? No. I'm sorry, dude. I'm a Delta first class guy. That's the only way to go. I want all of you to fly first class Delta. All of you. That's it. That's the fun. Hey, Tony, let's take a break for a second. Laura's got her hand up for a minute. I want to give her an opportunity. There's a couple comments and I'm going to spin it back to you. Give me 1 second. Go, Laura.
I just wanted to say that yesterday I was so inspired by Fred's message, and I already had a bunch of agents in my phone. And yesterday I decided to scroll through them after the meeting, and I found one agent that I hadn't talked to in 3 years. I met her and I was going to do business with her. She's a buyer's agent, and actually she just became president of the Association of Buyers Agents. And she was so happy to hear from me. Her and her husband were both home with COVID. And she's trying to get her business going again after COVID. And she got on the call with Fred yesterday, and now she has an appointment with him on Monday. And, he may help her with her business. She might join EXP, but she was so happy to hear, the good synergy of EXP and what it could probably offer her. So, I was so excited that I finally took that step to do that. And I have many more agents that I intend to make that list today. And this is going to be a real focus of mine. And I appreciate that information that you shared today. It's awesome.
Awesome.
So
Love it. Laura, thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate it. A couple comments I want to bring up as well. Tony, first off, Claire just hit you with a huge aha in building relationships and also how to organize them. That's great. Abrams loved this one. The division of industry stems from every man, quote, for themselves. When people see the synergy we have, slightly correcting the industry's reputation, people need to be cared for and taken care of. We are intermediaries who help us navigate. Abrams, that's spot on, dude. I appreciate that very, very much. And I had to repeat it. Folks, we're here to help. That's it. You're not here to recruit. You're not, although you're going to. And in fact, every recruit, every person came here because it solved the problem or it offered an opportunity. But until you know what they want, the opportunity and the solution cannot be provided. I have a conversation with you, Tony. You get this, and I'm going to spin it over to you in just a couple seconds. Hey guys, I want to talk to you. Let's see, who am I going to pick on this one? Jing's on the phone. I met Jing yesterday. This is probably not what's going to resonate with Jing. You got to know about revenue share. Oh my God, revenue share is amazing. You're going to love the fact that you can go out and recruit agents, and you're going to make a ton of money recruiting agents. She's like, whoa. I don't want any part of that. I want to build my real estate business to where it is. That's her challenge. How am I assuming I know the solution until, and this is right back to Tony, until I do discovery and actively listen to what she has a challenge with? I can't help fix a problem I'm unaware of. I can't support something I don't know that needs support. You have not earned the right. Every one of us has not earned the right to have a conversation about EXP until we understand what is going on in that person's world. You're going to make them feel amazing if you care enough to listen. Most people, more than anything, just want to be heard. Tony, I had to run that in. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Perfect. I got a great question for you, George. Will our agents fall on their face at the beginning when doing this? They're not going to be perfect, correct?
Absolutely. However, how do you fall on your face by caring about somebody, right? Yes, but right. You will. You're going to be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Practice.
Practice, right? So guys, who would like to practice and be able to fall on their face when it didn't really matter that they fell on their face? Would that be cool?
Yeah.
Start interviewing everyone. Rob, how are you? Nice to meet you at the holiday party. Or whoever introduced us. What do you do? I manage restaurants. Blah, 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 blah. How long have you been in that? What's your goal? I want to own my own restaurant. What's this stone in your shoe holding you back from doing that? Blah, 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 blah. Guess what Rob is? Top 50 referral source to send you more business in real estate. Come on, guys, interview everyone. Saperstein, when George finally got my stupid butt to look at this 11 months later, 9 months later, whatever it was, I knew Paul would be amazing because anytime I'd ever been around Paul the previous 16 or 17 years, Paul was always so curious in listing appointments with people we'd meet at a restaurant with another agent. He just is a natural, curious person. Start being curious. Learn to be more curious. Practice everywhere and anywhere you can without being annoying. Don't be annoying. Do not be annoying. Come from the heart. Do not be annoying. So real quick, Rob Abrams, are you on here right now, Rob, still?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Rob Abrams. So you and I sometimes talk a lot in 1 week period, and then we won't talk for 6 or 8 months, right? Sometimes.
That's dead on correct.
But we're partners, and you will sometimes call with an issue or you're putting a deal together or something once in a while. And I will with you and Paul, we all help each other, correct? Do you remember what my first question is normally when you're a buyer's agent and you're trying to put a deal together? Do you know what I normally ask? It's always the same.
No, I don't.
Before you tell me the story, I always ask, who is the other agent?
No.
Every single time. Because 90% of the time, if I know the other agent, I was with Mark Rucco yesterday. Mark did the call for us. George, you remember Mark out on doing 400 or 500 deals a year? Mm-hmm. I could call Mark and say, Mark, I'm on with Rob Abrams. Rob's sending an offer over. His buyer's here. Where the heck do we need to get? And Mark will normally tell me if it's okay, if it's legal with the seller. You know what? We're about here, but we need to get there. It saves so much time when you know the other people. Guess why I asked that question? Because I know most people in the business. It's awesome because I have conversations. And this is before EXP I was ever recruiting. I always like to know what other people were doing. How are you selling homes? What's working for you? What's not working for you? Because I learned from others. And Rob, most of the time when you know the other agent, does it make it easier?
100%.
100%, guys. So no more people, have more conversations. And when you know that Tony on our team down at Delray, he coaches baseball. Hey, Rob, it's Tony DeFalco. How have you been, buddy? How's the baseball team doing? How's the travel team doing? You know him. You know what his life's about. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, the original reason for my call, you work with Rob Abrams on my team. He sent the contract in. Da-da-da-da-da-da. His buyer would really love to get this property. Are we in the ballpark or should they be looking for another property? You know, he's about 20,000 down from my top offer right now, Tone. If he can't come up, I get the info. I'm not scamming. I just ask questions. Go meet more agents. Know your industry. Know other real estate agents. Fred, in Boca Raton, I came to Boca Raton. I was a young real estate agent. You're here previewing my property. They were mad, Rob. Hi, I'm Tony DeFalco. You're related to Fred? Let me put the red carpet out for you. Because Fred knew every agent because he interviewed everyone. No agents be good, the agents be helpful in the community. With what we're learning in this team from what George and Tom and Deep and Bobby and everyone that's on these calls, and Claire and everyone that's coaching us, we're learning things that can help agents be better and makes our industry better, makes it a better workplace for all of us. Just tell people. So George, we promised that we have what, 11 minutes?
Yep.
Do you want to do a little bit of role playing back and forth?
I do.
With one of the.
Absolutely. Do you want to lead it or you lead one and I'm going to lead one? I'm going to use the power script on mine. Always do. That's my go-to. What do you want to start, Tom?
Yeah, no doubt. George, how are you?
Great. What's going on, Tony? Good to hear from you again.
George, I'm calling about your. I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Did he ask you everything good? Good week?
Yeah, no, perfect. It's great.
Good. I already have enough agents I need to save in this market. I want to make sure I don't need to put you on the list.
I'm good.
Say something to connect. George, the reason for my call, you have that listing in Windermere, the beautiful one with the shower, with the 8 shower heads. Mm-hmm. My client loves it. But we're going out there. I know you have it listed at 629. He's capped out at 600,000. Would I be wasting my time even opening the door, or would we even have a shot?
Probably wasting your time.
No doubt. I told him the same thing. I really appreciate it. I want to go back to him with this information. Maybe I can get him to go up and really get out there to look at it, but I appreciate it. Man, that's a great listing. How's business been for you?
This market's crazy, man. I'm not digging it too much, but I've been fortunate. Still listing homes, XYZ PDQ.
Yeah, I'm more of a listing agent myself. I know right now it's becoming harder on us, where 6 months ago it was pop it up and manage contracts. So also, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're getting listings. I'm going to go back to him, and that may be it. George didn't say a whole lot. If he sounded busy, I won't say a whole lot, but I'm going to text him at the end of that call when I call the buyer. George, he's really still stuck at 600,000, but if something changes, let me know. Man, after speaking to you, I'm realizing you have the same type of business I have. It would be great to communicate with each other in the future. Hopefully we do a deal together, but let's stay in contact. Maybe we can grab lunch soon, something like that. George, if he's feeling that market the same way I am, man, I just set with Joseph Shayowitz, who's with another company now, but Joe reached out. He said, man, what the heck are you doing, Tony, in this morning? I said, man, I'm feeling the same darn stress you are. So first we felt the stress. I said, let's come up with a couple plans on what we need to do to get through this. And someone on the call, wasn't my idea, but someone on this call talked about surveying their neighbors about what they love about the community. So we talked about that, like door knocking. Hey, George, you know, I'm working this community diligently. I'm expecting to list a few homes in the community in the future, near future. And the sellers want to know what you love about the community so I can share with the buyers what you love about the community. So we get top dollar for the community, especially in this seem to be declining market. Could you help me? Tell me what you love about the community. So then we talked about that. I said, you know, you probably could do that with the people you know as well. Guys, write this down. You thought you came from RevShare. Guys want to sell more houses. Create your top 50 list, because more than 50 you probably won't call, of people that you'd love to communicate with. And calling that call would be like this. Hey, George, it's Tony DeFalco. How are you, George? George, you know, our real estate company is feeling a slowdown in the market right now. We're trying to navigate the market. As real estate agents, we believe it's one thing, but we really want to hear from the community. And, you know, you are someone very important to me, and your opinion's important to me. Would you mind helping me out? No, George, Tony, what do you need? What I need is to know what you're hearing about the real estate market. How are you feeling about the real estate market? In the next 12 to 24 months, what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market? Oh my gosh, that's a conversation that's going to create a deeper conversation that could possibly create a listing appointment, a referral. So that's what Joseph and I came up with at the table. And then Joseph's like, I'm going to mail them out a gift certificate for a coffee card, asking them for that information and for them to be expecting my phone call. I'm going to let them know I'm going to call. Wow. He dropped something on me. So stuff like that, the other agents right now, people are feeling the stress. They'd love to communicate and collaborate, because most do not what we have on a morning basis or a community the way we do. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry I went on a tangent.
No, that's cool. Hey, so I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to role play real quick with Tony. Tony, hey, listen, I'm calling about this. I'm calling about that. By the way, man, what do you think of this changing market, Tony?
Oh my gosh, George, you know, I'm listing more properties. I was thinking of sitting on the market. This interest rate, I can't imagine mathematically how the property values do not have, the property sales price do not have to drop to meet a monthly payment that a buyer can qualify for, let alone afford. So I think prices are probably going to drop in the next 6 to 18 to 24 months. That's my opinion. What are your thoughts, George?
Well, it's actually, you just mirrored what most of the best, I'm going to do is I'm going to compliment him. I'm going to keep him talking, asking questions. You just mirrored what some of the best minds in real estate are saying. I think that's real impressive that and I agree with you, man. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Hey, I got to ask you a question, man. Where's most of your business come from? I'm real curious. Where do you get most of your business from?
You know, George, 22 years in the business. I worked database very young, and then I dumped it off. The last 5 or 6 years, I've been around some of the greatest minds in real estate, and they proved to me that database is very important. Not only database, but a small select group of people. I'm down to 39 people I pay attention to, and I pay attention to them on a high level at least once a month. And at least a third of them I'm meeting with for coffee or lunch once a month, and they're referring me all their friends and family. How about you? Where's most of your business coming
I'm
from?
with you. I really study into database, and that's the one thing that I focus on. And I do a little geographic farming. I love, though, that you're down to 39. And now I'm going to have more of a conversation, as much as Tony wants to talk about that. And then when that kind of peters out and he's had his voice, and I've heard, by the way, I wrote down right here, database, and I'm going to tell you why. Because remember when I pulled up my phone, underneath Tony or in KV Core, wherever I'm keeping track, it's going to say database. You know why? Because I want to search that, and I'll tell you what happens for that in just a couple minutes. So Tony, who's helping you? Who's coaching you and continuing to help you move your business forward? I'm very curious. I always want to keep my options open.
You know, George, wholeheartedly, I'm at Remax. I have a great commission split. I love the company. I love the big red balloon. I believe when I advertise with Remax, more people work with me, and it's my belief. But over there, I'm really by myself. And yeah, I don't, you know, the agents in my office, we're all friends, but we don't really share ideas with each other. We're not really serving each other. It's really on me. And I never really believed in paying for coaching or anything like that. Why do you have a suggestion?
Well, no, actually, I'm just really,
I made
really
it
impressed with the success you have, and I figured somebody had to help you kind of get there. The fact that you've done that kind of a self-made is hugely, hugely impressive, and it begs the question: what's the one thing that's slowing you down from like even more success? What's hindering you from really getting to where you, I mean, you already blew it out of the water, but what's stopping you from being the most amazing out there right now?
I'll be 100% candid, George. I made a lot of money in the real estate business, almost $700,000 in 1 year. And the next year it was 38,000. We lost everything. I make a really good income right now. And I'm very satisfied with the income because it gives me the freedom to travel the way I want. So the only thing really holding me back right now is I really don't put as much energy into the business as I could to create greater results. And I'm really disorganized, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay. I appreciate you being candid on that. I wouldn't have really expected that. I'm going to compliment him again on this one. So now, right there, hold on a second. I know this about Tony, that his business comes from database and his high priorities are freedom. He's told me that. I actually actively listened and he likes his freedom. So I may say to him, so Tony, tell me a little more about your brokerage. Again, I want to keep my options open, have him go on and continue to ask questions about that. At some point, he's probably going to say, well, why don't you tell me about EXP? All I can do is tell you my authentic story. Hang tight, Tony. Hold on, I want to finish this up. Now, if it doesn't go to that direction and we're finishing up the call because it didn't work, he already told me, I said, listen, I run across some really good stuff on database and that's where my business is too. And that's what I focus on. If I find some really good training or some good material, can I give you a call or send it over to you?
Absolutely. See, I would have gotten to that. I would have jumped into that when I said that I don't have anyone supporting me. My question would have been like, you know what? I have felt that way. If you had a accountability partner, someone just to bounce ideas off of, do you think that would be more beneficial to your business?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely. I said, you know what? We sound like we run similar businesses with listings and referrals, working database. I think you and I would each have an aha moment, at least every other phone call, maybe every phone call that we had. I'd love to stay in contact with you. Would that offend you?
Not at all. Now, hold on, some of you out there, Tony, this is
hold on, real quick. And then I would have said, great. I'm glad you allowed me to do that. As I was sitting here and you were talking, one thing I'm really curious about that really hit me is what I had a friend ask me a couple months ago. What is the stone holding you back? Then I would have went into that question. I would have made it real natural going into that question. Then I probably would have dumped off the phone call, not much after, through a text message, through inspirational quote, put in your phone immediately the follow-up call. 2 weeks from now, I'm calling them back, 10 days, whatever you feel sufficient. Maybe George has a better system because George is systematic, but then go right to the next thing. There's never another meeting if you don't make the next meeting while you're on the phone call. And it may be you following up without them. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. I wanted to give you all something as well, because everybody wants to know how to do this. You're having a conversation. At some point in your conversation said, you know what? He's real busy, but if I could get you on the phone with Tony DeFalco, we're going to get a nugget or something out of here. This guy is absolutely, you got to edify him. He's absolutely amazing. He owned his own brokerage. He's a hell of a coach. He can really make a difference. I think that we probably want to have a conversation with him. If I can get him on the call, would you be open to having a conversation with him? The worst thing that's going to happen is we're both going to learn something about real estate. Now, that's my personal script, but that's how it plays. Now, the next thing that would happen in doing so is I'm going to text Tony. Hey, Tony, I've got somebody who's interested. And I give him a little background. I'd like to do a group text with you so that we can invite this person to a quick conversation. Awesome. All set. Good to go. In doing that, Tony's aware. Now I set up a group text between Tony, myself, and this person. Said, hey, this person, I want to introduce you to Tony DeFalco. Tony DeFalco is XYZ PDQ. Tony DeFalco, I want you to introduce to this person. He's XYZ PDQ. We're wondering if we can get 5 or 6 minutes of your time whenever you're free, Tony. And leave it to Tony to reply back to that person, or to me, or to Fred, or to Audrey, to Claire, or to Deep, or to whoever you're choosing. And if it's a newly licensed agent, call a newly licensed agent that just went through the training. Okay. We're not relevant to newly licensed agents, unfortunately. We're just not. A newly licensed agent who's having some success, anybody that's going through it, that's the relevant person. But figure out who you want to do it and make that introduction. You cannot effectively close all by yourself all the time. Go up the line. Use somebody to help you, please. All right. It's 9:30. I know we can do it again. So Tony, you're coming back next Thursday. Oh, actually, I'm not going to be here next Thursday. It's Thanksgiving and you guys won't be either. So we're done. Peace out. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Actually, we'll see you tomorrow for Tom Martin's. And if you have not already, Tiffany, drop it in there. If you have not already signed up for Ollie's class today for sure, and for the KV Core in-depth training that is happening at 10, Tiffany's going to drop that in. And Tiffany, as soon as we hang up, would you please give me a call and tell me where the hell is Joe? I haven't seen him for a week. All right. I'd like to know, just out of curiosity. Falco, thank you. You
George,
rock.
list next Thursday, every agent you know this week, create your list, go on Facebook, saved in your phone, in your MOS, create a list of at least 50 to 100 real estate agents and text them happy Thanksgiving. How are you doing? Happy Thanksgiving's great. Happy Thanksgiving. How are you doing for Thanksgiving? You can text it Wednesday night, whenever you want to text it, but watch the magic of those conversations. Everyone be well. Thank you for joining us, guys. Also, I know it's like running uphill at the beginning, but I promise you it gets easier and it will grow for you and you will be thankful that you did it. So happy Thanksgiving for everyone if I don't see you before. George, thank you for everything, buddy. You changed my life by sticking with me and having me come over here in a 9, 10, 11 months. You really promise you changed my life and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
And we're going to do that for everybody here. Our job is to help you change the lives of somebody else, which will ultimately change yours. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day. I am going to be watching the KV Core thing shortly. And in between that time, I'm going to go find out what my beautiful wife is doing because she's been listening in and I'm positive she has some good feedback for me. God bless you all. Have a great day. Tiffany, where the hell's Joe?
Thank you, guys.
Everybody wants to know. Where's Joe? Bye, y'all.